When this baby hits
82 degrees Celsius,
you're gonna see some serious shit.
And it looks like it's going to have to be modified straight out of the packet. So what's unusual about that?
Welcome back to Garage Kei. Thank you for joining me. My name is David and I have a broken microphone. In this episode you join me as my microphone suddenly comes to life as I'm explaining how to test a car's thermostat.
gets to 88 miles per hour, 82 degrees Celsius. This should actually move and then allow water to travel from here to there. But yeah, so that needs to go in there. Okay, do that. Thermostat in there. This here doesn't even need to stay there. Anyway, now we play the waiting game.
This is just a waiting game basically to see if the thing will open. If it opens, then your thermostat is working. If it doesn't open and the water boils, well, then it doesn't work and you need to replace it.
Okay, you can see daylight through here. As it cools down, that daylight will slowly get smaller. It's actually not hot, so I can do that.
And that's it. You can clearly see that the thermostat was open, which means it's working, and we watched it close, so it's functioning perfectly fine. It's time to put it back in the car. And if you're wondering why I chose that particular music for the closing of the thermostat, that is because traditionally in Japan, about 20 minutes, 30 to 20 minutes before a store closes in Japan, almost every store, they start playing that music to let customers know that they're closing soon and to get your shit and get the fuck out of there. Okay? And I thought it was fitting because it's closing. Japan, we're in Japan, it's closing. Okay, I thought it was funny, right? So, return the thermostat. It doesn't say that there's a way round it should be. Some cars say that it should be here, or it should be here. This car doesn't say in the service manual, so using my own common sense, I'm going to put the breather hole thingy majig at the front of the engine as far away from the heat as possible, giving this a chance to open sooner. That's my logic. If I'm wrong, that's fine. I don't think it's going to make a hell of a difference, to be honest. I'm gonna get my new cap, put that on there. Here is the new cap, you might say. Right, so I'm gonna put that just there real quick. I'm gonna have a look at what we had. Now, I was using this, which is a regular radiator cap. The rating of this is higher than the rating of this cap, so that's a first thing that kind of warning sign. And then that seems to seal. Maybe it seals, maybe it doesn't. Not really sure. This one is certainly more kind of, it's more low. This is a lot more low profile, that's for sure. So that's something to keep in mind. See that? Now that I can't put it back together, I'll actually order a new bolt and washer to go in there. I forgot to do that and I was just going to use this one, but seeing as though that I can't actually put the car back together until I get parts from the same shop that would come from, I may as well just use all new parts and get rid of that. This is for sale, by the way. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to sell that. That's going to trash. 1 skis, 2 skis. Now I'm not going to do this up. This is just going to be sort of finger tight so that no dust and debris and stuff can get in there as easily. So that is literally all we can do until we get parts. It is a new day. I've got the new parts and you might be able to tell that the lip sync is out, and that's because my mic is now completely broken and I have absolutely no idea about it. The audio does not return until later in the day. I've decided to include some of the footage with no audio, but most of it I won't include because it's just horrible with no audio. So I'm going to show you the important parts of what happened. I did make a mistake. We will go through that. But yeah, so you're not losing content. It's just I'm cutting out the parts where I was talking and things that aren't important. So yeah, shit happens, especially to me. Thank you for your understanding. Before we continue though, there's 3 things I want to talk about. The first thing is that this footage was recorded in November of last year. So if you're going to give me advice on the present situation, it's not going to work because I'm already done. Spoiler alert, the car still has problems, but giving me advice on the current situation isn't going to help because it was months ago. Okay, I'm just that far behind in footage. That's why there's so many videos coming out. I haven't been going to the garage and doing any work. I'm trying to get these videos out, clear up all my memory, and have a fresh slate to start on the projects that are coming because they're epic. Okay, so that's what's happening. That's number 1. The second thing is,
we're going on an adventure, Charlie.
I bought a used ECU and throttle body set from Yahoo Auction. The seller claimed that it was all working good and came out of a running car that was fine. So I thought I would put those 2 in and rule out a throttle body problem and an ECU problem at the same time. Because you know that I'm still having those AFR, weird AFR spikes that I showed you in a previous video that will be linked in the description if you want to check that out. I was still having that problem, so I was trying to kill all of the birds in one stone. The coolant was already drained from the engine at this point, so much easier to do the throttle body now. 3.
We're going on an adventure.
If you might remember from a previous video, this car had an alternator problem and left us stranded about 2 hours from home. Link in the description. After that, I stole the alternator from the silver van to get this car working. Still not convinced that I had a good alternator. It was always still in the back of my mind that this car could stop at any time from a charging issue. Not having that, so I bought a brand new alternator. So you might as well fit the brand new alternator now, and it just so happened to arrive on this day. So like I said before, yeah, let's kill all of the birds with one stone. So, 1, this was recorded months ago. 2, we're putting in a throttle body and an ECU. And 3, I'm fitting a brand new alternator. Oh, and let's not forget the quest I'm already on. Fit the new timing belt and timing belt tensioner so the car can actually move. Okay, now I've got the alternator out of there and I've got the throttle body out of there. I can see the block. More specifically, and more importantly, I can see the lower coolant pipe that connects to the block, and I'm not very happy with what I'm seeing. So I'm swapping it out for another one that I have. I really wanted to swap this thing out too, but I just couldn't because the intake manifold's in the way. You can't get to this back bolt here. Impossible. Now I'm going to remove the ECU so I can put the new one in. Now, of course, while I'm trying to remove the ECU, the lower bolt just completely strips itself and won't come out of the chassis of the car. So I'm going to open up these two ECUs and have a look inside just to make sure there's no burnt out capacitors or anything like that in there before I bother installing a new one. Honestly, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with this one. This one looks fine too. No bad smells of electronics burning or anything like that, so yeah, we'll throw it in. But first I need to deal with this bolt that won't come out. So I'm just going to drill the head off it, then drill out a 9mm hole and put in a reinsert. Quests on quests on quests. Before I can do that, I have to take the intercooler out because I don't want to accidentally pierce it with my drill as I'm going through. This thing's completely covered in gravel and shit, and it's probably not cooling anything. So I'm going to clean it up with some soap, water, and a brush. Now I figure while I'm here, I might as well replace all of the water hoses, so that's what I'm doing. It was at this point I realized I forgot to buy this particular hose new. So every other hose around here is new except for this one, but maybe we'll get to that later. This one looks in good condition anyway, so it should be fine. This is the throttle body that came with the ECU. After a surprisingly long inspection, I removed the old gasket and threw that away. So while I've been messing around with this alternator, the cable is completely broken. So what I'm going to do is just cut the OEM plug off and then just solder the wires directly onto the cable that came with the alternator that I bought. Okay, just to keep you updated, I only just figured out that I don't have any audio. I guess this cable is routed. Yeah, looks to be. Probably happened when it fell over. I'm not even sure how much of that footage I'm going to use because it's got no audio. So anyway, OCD's got the best of me. I need to figure out whether that bolt is missing out of the water pump or not. So I've undone the crank bolt again using the same hip method as before. I'm going to take it all apart and then check. Lucky for me, I've got this here so I know how many bolts there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If there's 5 bolts in it, I'll quickly put it all back together again and there'll be nothing else to do. If there is not 5 bolts in it, that's where this goes. I was kind of foolish in a way. I was foolish to start replacing bolts and not take as much notice, although I might have taken notice at the time, but it's been an extra day and I've got no audio on that footage to check whether I was saying yep, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in or whatever. Don't know. So that's where we're at. GoPro problems, but that's the least of my problems. This is my fault. I don't know where that goes. I need to figure out where that goes. But we will do that in the next episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you'd like to see what happens next, press subscribe. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do that by getting your name on the Garage Kei door or picking yourself up some merch. Details on that and a lot more in the description, so check that out. Check out the Facebooks, the Instagrams. I'll see you in the next one. Later.